I'm Liliana. I'm 15 and I'm from Sparta, Wisconsin.
Liliana is 15 years old and she was diagnosed with B-cell ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. In around October of 2022, she had a lymph node, a swollen lymph node. We went to the doctor did blood work, eventually an ultrasound, and then in January of 2023, it just disappeared. And right after it disappeared, she started having extreme tiredness. She looked very pale.
My bones would start hurting, my chest, my arms, my shoulders, my ribs. And that's when we did the blood test and found out I had cancer.
It worried me because she said, you need to bring her right away. That was the first time that she stayed at the hospital. And from that point, it's been 11 more times. And they've all been about a week to 10 days at the most. She's had a few complications. She had her initial port became infected and it had to be removed. Then they had to do a PICC line. Later on, she had more infections. She had her gallbladder removed. The nurses and child life specialists, and I mean, everybody's just like up here, top notch, really, really nice people.
I'm really thankful for them. They've helped me so much, and I don't know if I would be able to go through this without their help. They really just want me to be as good as I can be, as healthy as I can be.
They're making sure that you're receiving everything when it comes to your treatment, but they also see you as a person, and they saw us as a small family, and they saw us as maybe struggling a little bit. I'm sorry. I always thought that it would be a tough road as an adult. As a child, I just cannot even imagine what sometimes goes through the head of my kid. But there is many programs here in La Crosse that they just have made a difference on how she's been able to take on her treatment.
I remember one time I was in the hospital and this was like my third visit, but I was already tired of it. But the nurses and the child life specialists and my mom and sisters, they would just come and help me. They would motivate me.
Right now, she reached maintenance. She still has a year and a few months. May 2025 is when her treatment is supposed to end. It's supposed to be smooth sailing from here, and hopefully that's how it stays.
Andrew turned a year old, wasn't hitting some of those milestones, he was crawling and walking a little bit later than other kids that we knew. So reached out to pediatrician. They had referred us to birth to 3. Our biggest thing to us, not knowing a lot of those things, was the speech. He wasn't talking, and that was something that we were worried about, concerned, making sure that we were doing what was right for him. Reached out to pediatrician again. They were great, working with us from the very first contact until, at that point, I'd referred to us, the Peds Specialties Department, and was able to recommend the arena assessment. At that time, the arena assessment was not covered for under insurance. They had referred us to reach out to CMN to help fund that. So in that assessment, we have the initial appointment with pediatric specialties, meet with psychologists, and all of the different health professionals that all take part in those bits and pieces, whether it would be OT, whether it was speech, all of the PT. Those are all of the people that were able to kind of see, things that we might not have been seeing, and be able to piece together, the support that we needed. Having that autism diagnosis and being able to have that assessment was huge for us because it did open so many doors. It allowed us to take that and find these other supports. We've just had an amazing experience. I feel so supported through his pediatrician that, pointed us the right direction, that was able to get us to where we needed to be. Would get him, most importantly, to where he is now. I mean, he was nonverbal until he was about 4.5. We like to say he found his voice.
I still remember the first time, I choke up about this sometimes, it's with him. I come home and he goes, "How was your day, Dad?" And to this day, I think that's one of the things that me and Andrew connect.
Because he was able to have that assessment, because we had those answers, that he was able to get all of that assistance, get all of that support through school, through home, that helped us support him, and that helped support him so many ways that he's where he's at now. But he's a kid that just really wants to fit in and wants to be like the other kids. And for me as a mom, that's what I want more than anything for him. The way he retains knowledge is amazing. He's so smart.
It's really cool on the stuff, the years, the dates, the times, like he just remembers things like that, and it's amazing. But the people that do know Andrew, when he walks into the room, he really brightens everybody's day. Just with his humor, his jokes, everything that, he's done, from just learning his ABCs to, knowing every single country and state and city in the world. And it's phenomenal. He's just amazing.
He's in 8th grade right now. From where he was at 4K to where he is now, it's amazing to see the progress he's made. I know how far he's come, and I'm excited to see where he goes.
I am a teacher for children who have visual impairments or blindness. She's just has always tugged at my heartstrings.
Before the adoption, all I know is Zari was premature. She was born in Texas and she was brought here to Minnesota. Sandy came home from school one day and said Zari was coming up for adoption. Zari's whole team, anywhere from Gunderson to the Crescent schools or whatever, they wanted to keep everybody together with Zari. So Sandy came home and she asked if we could adopt her so we can keep her in the same schools, same group home, with the same hospital staff. And I said, well, let's go for it. When I first met Zari, it seemed like she was always in pain. And I looked at Sandy and I said, well, what can we do to take it all away? Prior to the adoption, I heard something on the radio about spinal surgery. Basically, she was leaning all the time. She had spinal bifida really bad. It looked like an S, and their spine twisted. I mean, back then we couldn't even walk down the street, She was always in so much pain. And now we can take her down the street. Before, she wouldn't even get in her stander. We have a stander at home, and the doctor told us if we get her in her standers, she'll be healthier.
She's breathing better. I think just everything just being straight up, and like Billy said, putting in her standards, just helping to elongate her and just making everything, the whole body system work better.
Zari's care team is great. If I got a question or Sandy has a question, we reach out to our care coordinator, and they get an answer probably within 24 hours.
It says everybody cares for her, they have a history with her, and it was really important for us to keep her here with her team.
Everybody knows her. You go over to the pediatric specialty, that's where Zari goes sees all their doctors, and from the nursing staff to the doctors, they've seen a big change in Zari.
Charlie came a month early, so he was born at the end of August, premature, but at a whopping 7 pounds, 11 ounces. Everything seemed to be pretty good, but he didn't eat real well. I kept saying something's not right. He would start coughing or crying more often, and so when he was 5 weeks old, we were able to get in with our pediatrician, and she got us in with ENT, and they did a scope and found out that he had what's called bilateral choroidal atresia. It's basically the cartilage in your nose is like blocking your airway, and infants can't breathe through their mouth until they're at least 6 to 12 weeks old. So he was not getting the oxygen that he should be getting. So we were admitted then to Gunderson here in La Crosse. He was put on oxygen, a feeding tube. At 14 days, we were able to go home with a oxygen machine that CMN helped us to purchase. He was on that for 18 months to 2 years. More recently, he was diagnosed with childhood apraxia of speech. Basically, it's like it's kind of like a brain damage. So the brain does not send the signals to the mouth in the right way. So when he tries to talk, it doesn't always come out right. So he has just started to he's 5 and he's just started to kind of say a few words here and there. He's starting to repeat us a little bit more. I can't say enough for Gunderson and CMN. I mean, we've spent a lot of time here in the last 5 years, and they're all great. We've had really good experiences. We have had wonderful doctors and great care all the way around, really. But he is the happiest little boy you'll ever meet. He's fun, energetic, very busy. He's our light.
Luther was diagnosed with congenital cytomegalovirus when he was about a year old. He wasn't hitting milestones the first year of life, and that's kind of what just pushed us to ask for more answers. 6 months old, he still wasn't sitting up unassisted. He just had really low muscle tone, and so would just kind of topple over. He still wasn't crawling or pulling himself to stand. He actually didn't start crawling until about 12 to 15 months. Wasn't really talking. His vision and just the way he'd follow you was a little different. And we didn't know there was hearing loss until the diagnosis and then getting referred to audiology. When we noticed he wasn't hitting milestones, I asked our pediatrician to be referred to a specialist. We actually got referred to neuro and had an MRI done. And at that time is when they found calcifications on the brain. So he does PT and speech here at Gunderson, audiology, and when he was younger, he was sick all the time and issues with like asthma. And then we were seeing neurosciences for, he could receive Botox injections every 3 months in his legs for spasticity.
Been here a lot. I'd say we live here sometimes, but just seems like everybody we've kind of come across just seems like it's the right person at that time. It's more of a family atmosphere, and they're looking out for Luther and what's best.
For being such a small community, I mean, we live in a really small town, so we travel here to La Crosse. Gunderson has been amazing. I feel like all of our providers love Luther like their own. He's in kindergarten. I would say anyone that knows Luther, he's a social butterfly. I always tell people, like, really sorry if you don't like hugs, because you're getting hugs anyway.
No, Luther's a great kid. He's never met a stranger. He's everybody's best friend. He's tough. There's really nobody tougher than him and what he goes through, and all he does is smile.
When you have a child with special needs, it can be pretty overwhelming, and just to have a little extra help and support, I mean, that's a great deal.
CMN will just come and say, hey, let us help you.
Anything that he's needed, medical equipment, things like that, CMN's always been there to provide that kind of stuff for him.
They don't care if it's childhood cancer or if it's CMV or if it's another condition that's really rare. Children's Miracle Network helps all of them.
Without that, I just don't think it would have been possible for a lot of the services and a lot of the support the families really need.
Just taking care of what people would deem the little things that always add up to be a lot.
Donate, even if it's a penny. It will help you in the long run some way or another, or someone you know.
The more people donate, the more resources a hospital like this have.
It may not seem life-changing when you round up at the register or you drop $20 towards some sort of event that's going on, But all of that adds up, and it really is life-changing for the family on the other side.
A lot of kids go through very difficult situations, and your donation could really be the thing that pushes them through it.
You know, it's a great cause. Everybody's very thankful for CMN.
Thank you. Thank you. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you from our family and so many other families out there.
Gunderson is amazing, and I can't thank everybody here enough, and CMN, thank you.
It's made a positive impact in the way she has gone through this journey.
Thank you very much. You really helped me, and you probably helped many other kids. And you should be happy that you're such a great person.